Okay, let's dive in. If you're running a small business, you you definitely know this feeling.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
trying to focus on your main thing, baking, fixing cars, whatever it is, and boom,
Suddenly you need a plumber.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or a printer, quick. Or your network goes down. Or you're wrestling with insurance forms.
Yep.
And just like that, you're not minding your own business anymore. You're sucked into this vendor chaos.
It's the endless searching, right?
Endless searching, calling around, explaining the same problem over and over.
Chasing quotes that half the time never even show up.
And the quality. Sometimes it's great, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
not so much. It's just a huge, huge drain on your time.
Yeah.
The most valuable thing.
Absolutely. And, the sources we looked at really highlight this. It's a massive market. Small businesses,
It's huge.
Main Street businesses, spending something like $17 trillion a year on these essential services, operational stuff.
17 trillion, wow.
But the way they find these services now, it's super fragmented, really inefficient.
So it's mostly just like asking a friend or cold calling.
Pretty much, yeah, word of mouth, maybe some random online searches. And that leads to, inconsistent pricing, for one.
Right.
No real way to track the job, service levels all over the place, just a lack of visibility, accountability, too.
And we should mention, the sources point out there are platforms out there like Angie, maybe Thumbtack.
Sure, they exist, but they're often really geared towards homeowners, not businesses.
Yeah, like fixing a leaky faucet at home is different from needing your commercial HVAC system
It's
service.
a really different scale and workflow. And something like Fiverr, great for, freelance graphic design or writing.
But not when you need someone physically there to fix equipment or install something.
Exactly. Those platforms, they just weren't really built for the specific, diverse, often on-site needs of a brick and mortar business.
They miss that B2B workflow piece.
They really do. They don't quite solve the core problems for the actual business operator.
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. According to the sources we reviewed, there's this new startup, ABC, American Business Connection,
Mm-hmm.
and they're basically aiming to fix this specific problem head on.
Yeah, they're positioning themselves as like the first dedicated B2B engine for finding vendors.
Specifically for those small business owners who are just swamped,
Yeah.
overwhelmed.
Their whole mission, based on what we read, is pretty simple. Be the easy button for these business owners.
The easy button. I like that.
Yeah, just remove all that friction, that wasted time you were talking about.
And the big promise for the business owner, the customer, stop searching, start sourcing. That's their line.
Right. No more hunting around, no mystery quotes.
Vetted vendors, they say. Locked-in discounts. And get this, 0 platform fees.
That zero customer cost part, that seems to be the biggest headline grabber in the source.
0 cost for the business using it.
Absolutely nothing. That's
Yeah.
what the material says. No subscription, no fee per job, nothing.
Okay, wait. That sounds almost too good to be true. How does that even work?
Well, their revenue, it comes entirely from the vendor side, from agreements they have with the vendors in their network.
Okay, so the business owner pays zilch. What are the other benefits then, beyond just free access?
Well, first off, the sources really stress the vetting. ABC doesn't just, list anybody.
Right.
They pre-screen vendors, qualify them based on what they call operational standards.
Operational standards, like what?
Think reliability, having the right licenses, insurance, being ready to meet certain service level agreements, promises on response time or quality.
So it's deeper than just looking at online reviews.
Seems like it, yeah. They're trying to establish a baseline of quality and professionalism before a vendor even gets in the system.
Okay, that's good. What about pricing? Is it still a negotiation nightmare?
Nope. That's another key thing. Pre-negotiated pricing.
Oh.
So when you use ABC, you automatically get what they call preferred pricing. Basically, guaranteed discounts on every job.
And you see that up front.
Yeah, the sources say it's shown right on the quote or invoice. Like, here's the standard price and here's your ABC discount. No need to haggle yourself.
Okay, that alone takes away a massive headache. So the process, how do you actually find the plumber or the IT person?
That's the stop searching, start sourcing part. Instead of you calling 5 places,
Right.
you submit one single request through their platform. You say what you need.
Okay.
Then ABC system, they mention using AI-optimized routing.
Fancy term.
Yeah, basically, smart tech matches your specific job to the single best fit vendor.
Wait. Single? Just one vendor?
One, that's what the sources say, one vetted vendor who's available in your area for that specific category based on their performance, proximity, all that.
So there's no list. I don't get, 3 quotes to compare?
Correct. The platform handles the selection. The whole idea is to remove the guesswork, the shopping around, the comparing bids. You trust their vetting and their match.
Okay, but what if?
Yeah.
What if I don't like that one vendor? Or what if they mess up? Am I stuck?
Good question. The sources say there's built-in accountability. The platform tracks the job progress,
Okay.
gives you updates, like ETAs, facilitates communication. And if a vendor does drop the ball,
Yeah.
ABC system is apparently designed to step in and manage that. But crucially,
What?
you are never obligated to hire the assigned vendor. Ever.
Oh, okay. That's key.
You can just walk away, no penalty, no pressure. They call it enabling risk-free experimentation.
Risk-free experimentation. Okay. So you can try their vetted choice,
Yeah.
but you're not locked in if it doesn't feel right.
Exactly. You have that flexibility, which for a business owner is huge.
Absolutely essential. And the range of services, is it just like basic maintenance stuff?
Oh, not at all. The list in the sources is massive. Over 70 categories.
70, seriously?
Yeah, everything from, printing, advertising, digital, social, print,
Okay.
to business insurance, IT services like cybersecurity or help desk support, legal stuff,
What?
payroll, office furniture sales and leasing, janitorial, pest control, security systems, staffing, even things like drone pilots or ATM machine leasing.
Okay, so it's really broad. Basically anything a business needs to run, besides making their actual product or service.
Pretty much covers the whole spectrum of those operational expenses for a typical brick-and-mortar place.
So it really is aiming to be that single point of contact, removing friction, saving hours, cutting down overhead for busy operators.
That seems to be exactly the goal. That easy button for all the stuff that eats up time and energy.
Okay, let's flip this now. Let's look at the vendors, the preferred vendors joining ABC.
Right, because this is where the model really differs from, say, an Angie or a Thumbtack.
Yeah, on those other platforms, vendors often pay just to get listed, right?
Okay.
Or pay per lead, and then they're bidding against each other.
Exactly. Lots of competition, often driving prices down, and they pay up front just for the chance to get the job.
So how is ABC different for the vendor?
Well, the sources describe ABC as a job assignment platform. It's not pay to list, it's not pay for leads.
Job assignment, okay.
Vendors don't pay listing fees, they don't pay to get higher placement, no advertising gimmicks inside the platform.
So how did they get work?
ABC's system routes qualified job requests directly to them. One specific vendor for one specific job.
And no bidding wars, you said.
Correct. Since they assign just one vendor based on performance, availability, standards, there's no need for that vendor to immediately undercut 5 competitors just to win the lead.
So it's less about who bids lowest and more about who's actually a good, reliable operator.
That seems to be the focus. Performance, meeting those operational standards, being ready when a job comes in. It shifts the dynamic away from just being a name on a list competing solely on price.
Okay, but if the customer pays nothing and the vendor isn't paying listing fees?
Yeah.
Where does ABC's money come from? You mentioned it's the vendor side.
Right. This is the core of their business model, according to the sources. The vendors agree to a pre-negotiated revenue share with ABC.
Revenue share.
Okay.
But, and this is the critical part, they only pay that share after the job is done, after the customer has paid the vendor for the completed work.
So the vendor does the job, gets paid by the business owner, and then shares a percentage of that earned money back with ABC.
Exactly. It's a shared reward system.
Yeah.
It completely aligns incentives.
Yeah, because ABC only makes money if the vendor successfully does the job and gets paid.
Right. They're not just selling leads that might go nowhere.
Yeah.
They're facilitating completed paid work. It's built on partnership.
That makes a lot more sense. It explains the zero customer cost part.
And the sources mentioned their vetting process for vendors is pretty thorough, too. Standardized, multi-step, designed to bring in reliable local businesses.
You mentioned earlier that the customer doesn't initially see the vendor's name.
Right.
Why is that important for the vendor or for the system?
Well, the idea there is to reduce bias. It encourages the customer to trust ABC's vetting and matching process.
Instead of just saying, oh, I've heard of them, or I've never heard of them, or maybe they had one bad experience 5 years ago with Bob's Plumbing.
Right, prevents past experience bias.
Exactly. It gives a highly qualified, vetted vendor who might not be the biggest name in town a fair shot at the job based on merit and availability now. Focuses on the platform's guarantee.
That actually makes a lot of sense. It forces the decision onto the quality of the match and the current job, not just brand recognition. Now, managing all this, the matching, the tracking, quotes, invoices, That sounds like it needs some serious tech behind it.
Yeah, the sources describe it as more than just a directory. It's a full-feature execution system built for national scale, apparently.
Execution system. Okay.
Key features mentioned are that AI-optimized routing, real-time job tracking we talked about, automated workflows for, quotes, invoices, job milestones, the whole life cycle.
So it's not just making the intro, it's managing the job from start to finish.
That's the idea. They call it execution first. The goal isn't just one-off connections. It's to drive repeat usage. Make it so easy and beneficial that businesses just automatically use ABC for all those recurring operational needs.
Like a habit.
Exactly. The sources even mention using incentives and behavioral economics to build what they call loyalty without lock-in.
Interesting phrase.
Yeah, the idea is that by consistently using ABC for those regular expenses, the business owner sees compounding savings from those guaranteed discounts over time.
And where is this available now? Is it nationwide?
No, the sources mention a phased U.S. rollout. They started with a pilot currently running in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Okay, got it. So let's pull this all together. We look at the competitive landscape again. The sources seem pretty confident ABC is carving out its own space.
Yeah, they call it white space.
So, compared to the others we mentioned, Angie, Thumbtack.
The contrast is pretty clear based on the descriptions. Angie Thumbtack, mostly homeowners, customer does the searching and haggling, vendors pay to play or get leads, quality can be variable, heavily reliant on reviews.
And not really built for that wide range of B2B operational needs.
Right, not designed for those structured business workflows.
At Fiverr.
Totally different beast. Digital gigs, freelancers. Doesn't touch the physical on-site services, plumbing, HVAC, equipment repair that brick-and-mortar businesses constantly need. Plus, Fiverr charges fees on both sides.
Okay, so ABC's advantages really boil down to being purpose-built for these Main Street businesses.
That seems to be the core argument. Zero customer cost is huge. Guaranteed pricing, the pre-vetting and assignment model, taking search and bidding off the owner's plate,
Plus that huge scope, the 70-plus categories.
and the whole execution system approach, managing the job, aiming for repeat business. It's positioned as the vendor operating system for Main Street.
That phrase really captures it. Okay, so
Yeah.
summarizing the value proposition,
For the small business owner, it's about simplifying vendor sourcing, getting vetted pros, better prices, no hassle, and it costs them nothing to use the platform itself.
and for the vendors.
It's qualified job assignments, not just leads. No listing fees, no bidding wars. They focus on doing good work, and they only share revenue after they get paid for that work. A true partnership model.
And the key differentiator overall is that laser focus on the underserved B2B brick-and-mortar market and operating as that execution system, not just a listing site.
That's the picture painted by the sources, yeah. Targeting that massive $17 trillion operational spend by trying to fix the fundamental broken process of finding and managing vendors.
Okay, so wrapping up, here's something to think about. Consider just how much time, how much mental energy, how much cost really small businesses pour into just finding and dealing with vendors.
Yeah, for everything from fixing the toilet to managing their IT.
Right. If a platform like ABC can genuinely streamline all that, remove the search, the vetting, the negotiation, the chasing, what does that actually do for the business owner?
How much more time and focus can they put back into their actual business, the thing they're passionate about?
And thinking bigger, if you scale that kind of efficiency gain across potentially millions of small businesses,
All facing this same challenge.
what could the ripple effect be? For productivity, for growth, just for the overall health of Main Street. What happens when you unlock efficiency in such a massive but often overlooked part of the economy?
It's a really interesting question to ponder. What does that collective impact look like?